All right. This is so good. We're doing a part 2. Mike Bowling, inventor of Pound Puppies, sold all around the world, all these different licenses.
These lonely Pound Puppies need someone to love. Someone who'd love a little puppy love.
For you, Grandma.
Pound Puppies are as cuddly as real puppies.
He'll keep you company in the dorm.
They're the perfect way to say I love you for birthdays, holidays, or any day. Pound Puppies, so soft and adorably lonely. Sometimes the hardest thing about giving them
Happy Valentine's Day
is giving them up.
Pound Puppy, you're my one and only puppy love.
But he said something that I really want to talk about in this particular video. How to become a professional inventor. And what does it take? And what does that really mean? But I want to start out by talking about those relationships you talked about a little earlier. How important is it to establish those relationships and treat people fairly so you can come back again? Is that important or not?
That you just hit on what's one of the most critical things that I've lived by since the day I started in this business. My relationships are more important to me than money. And recognizing that if you want to come back, a year from now or 2 years from now, and work with those different people in the industry, you have to maintain a good relationship with them, and you have to show them that you're willing to work with them. And I remember one time where Gloob had called me. Pound Puppies was at Gloob at the time, and they called me and they said, Mike, we've got an opportunity to sell 100,000, Pound puppy vans in England, but we have to sell it to them at a reduced price. And so we're willing to take a cut. Would you take a cut on your royalty? I said, absolutely, because it was just icing on the cake. I said, yeah, you can cut my royalty in half. And I trusted them and they trusted me. And so we did it. Well, when I got the royalty statement, the accountant had forgotten to cut my royalty in half. So I had a full royalty on that item in my check. And I called up the company and got in touch with the accountant. And I said, you've made a mistake. You paid me too much. And he said, Mike, I've been in this business 30 years, and you're the first person that's ever called me and told me that I made a mistake and paid them too much and wanted to give the money back to me. But I'm not trying to say I'm this goody person. I'm just trying to say that to me was a test on how you're going to continue your relationships. And that resulted in, the president of the company asking me one day, he says, I don't understand you. He said, you work with us rather than fight with us. He said, with most of the people. And I said, well, I want you to succeed so greatly that you're going to want to put a lot of money into this product and promote it and stuff. I've had it happen a couple of times, as I'm sure you have, where I worked really hard. I licensed an item to a toy company, and for a wide variety of reasons, they messed up and it died at the start. They made a mistake I had product come in from China with a Try-Me. 50% of them didn't work, and it killed it right out of the gate. When it was launched, we were the number one selling toy in that category, and then it immediately died because they had made a mistake. And that's hard to take. But you know what? I've never gone against a company with a suit or I've never sued a toy company. I've been in some very unpleasant things, but I remember the last one that happened to me. I called the president of the toy company and I said, I'm sorry this happened. I know you didn't want it to happen. He said, no, Mike, we didn't. Of course we wouldn't have wanted it to happen. And I said, and I know you put a lot of money into developing it, commercial, launching it, all this type of stuff, and that you're losing. And so, let's move on and until we get to the next one. And I go back to that, what do you do if you sue somebody over an issue like that and you think you're going to go back to him in a year and say, let me show you this new idea that I've got. So my philosophy is to help my partner as much as I can on that end.
It's called teamwork, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You've got to have that teamwork and with everybody working together.
Tell us how important, Mike, is to stay in one industry, to get to know those people, go to the trade shows, invest in knowing their business. How important is that for you to become successful, to become a professional inventor, to do those things?
It's absolutely critical, because if there's one thing I'll tell you where I made some mistakes along the line of my career, was every time I tried, I've had people come to me with different inventions, and I thought, oh, that's a great idea. And so they would ask me to rep them, and I would take it on. And what I found out was that I knew nothing, nor anyone, nor anything about the industry where they wanted this item to go to. And what I would do is I would flounder around trying to figure out, you know, a guy came to me with a sunglass invention, another guy came to me with a car invention, and all these different types of things. And I didn't know the industry, so I really didn't know, you know, whether it was worthy in that industry. And so I quit doing that. But every time that I went back and focused 100% on my toy business, good things happened. And I would get a new license on something. So straying away and getting diverted into areas that you don't know can cost you time and money and opportunity in a big way. So you have to stay focused. And especially once you've established those relationships within that industry, I mean, as I told you, I can pick up the phone now and call the CEO, president of Hasbro, and I've done that before, and all the different people in the industry, and they'll take my phone call, and we'll sit and have a great talk. They'll review whatever I present to them, and they'll reject it, and then I'll go home, but it's still good. And you know what? Even when they reject it, a lot of times they'll say, you know, here's what's wrong with it, Mike. And I go, thank you. So I go home and change that, what they said is wrong with it, to try and get it to go to the next level. And
so that feedback is important. Mike, how many toy trade shows have you been to? I mean, New York Toy Fair, do you go every once in a while?
No. I've been to the New York Toy Fair 35 years straight. I did miss it this year because of a big cruise vacation celebrating the fact that I'm 70 years young. And I went to all of them. You know, back when Pound Puppies was first launched, as I told you, I licensed it to 28 different countries. And so I would do the Toy Fair circuit every year, where I would go throughout Europe and start out in London and Milan and hit all the different toy fairs, in Nuremberg being the big one, which you're aware of in Europe, and now China's so big in the toy industry, and so I would have to set and add them up, but for 30 some years I went to every important toy show that came up, and now it's Dallas in October, and China and New York are kind of the big ones now, the top 1, 2, 3 that you go to.
Fantastic. This is so good. Everyone, we're going to do one more. We're going to do a part 3. I could not stop asking these questions. So, Mike, thank you. We'll see you in just a minute.
Okay, thanks.